I have my phone up here because it's been a while, but I'm a storyteller. So before this, I was a writer, and I will. Before this, I was a poet, and I told my stories and I told my truth, and people laughed at me. So I became a comedian instead. All right. I'm uncomfortable up here, which is fine because I have this very large, very visible tattoo that says "No comfort in consciousness." I go through life trying to talk to people, and they just stare at my chest trying to read this tattoo. So I'm no stranger to discomfort. So I want to talk about something very important today, and that's the topic of censorship. I think it's funny who can handle being told to be quiet and who can't. So if you look at me up here, I'm a large fat woman wearing a wig. And if you didn't know before, you know now that I'm very mentally ill. And that's okay, don't feel sorry for me. I know, I've been on Twitter, so I know that many of us are disordered too. But regardless, I'm a little off, okay? But, so do you think that I've been told to be quiet? Of course, and I did, and I got over it. Growing up in Memphis, I didn't have a lot of friends, which is fine, because I did have a lot of bullies. Okay, and every day I would wake up excited to go to school just to get there and get lit up. Okay, large groups of people. All right, one after the next, and you can't pay for that kind of comedy training. All different kinds of people, all different kinds of styles calling me fat and ugly. And after a while, you just listen and you realize, some good stuff in there, really. But you don't need an improv class, just be fat to grow up. But friends, they come and go, and we all know that. How many of us have left a friend in need? But bullies, they stay with you forever. Okay, they live up here. If you want to cure that loneliness that I know you feel, try to find a way to be a fat black kid in America, and you won't be alone anymore, okay? All of the voices will eventually drown out your own, okay? And you will feel surrounded. You won't know what loneliness is anymore, because even when you're alone, you can hear what they say. But, my bullies looked a lot like everyone in this audience tonight. And that line always works in whatever city I'm in, because I go to a lot of cities. And people everywhere want to control who has the power to speak and why. When I tell a man, especially if it makes them uncomfortable. But we've established that I deal in discomfort, so it doesn't stop me. When I tell a man, a grown man with a fully functioning brain, to stop making fun of fat black women, suddenly I'm the master of censorship. Okay? I'm pulling free speech from the fabric of this country, instead of asking a grown person to be a better human. And it's like, growing up in my family, I once asked my white grandparents to stop calling me the N-word. And I was met promptly with a backhand across the face. That is what censorship is. Okay. It's not so much
DJ Money.
I mean, that was kind of censorship as well. But that's cancel culture. Who has the power to make the jokes and why? And this is true. Growing up, people would call me fat all day, all kinds of ways. They weren't that creative, but still, the point got across. But the second that I tell them, hey, didn't your grandma die from complications of type 2 diabetes because of her weight? I take it too far. So I stopped. It's like, fatness isn't a joke, it's very serious. But I stopped taking a lot of people seriously a long time ago. For a long time, people like me, people like us, if you're marginalized especially, our voices were taken away. We had to sit there quietly while people tore us apart and ripped apart our self-esteem so that their friends could laugh. And that was our experience growing up. Okay, and these little bullies, they grow up into adult bullies. They don't go away. They create a society that functions at its best when we all hate ourselves. And instead of fighting back, we laugh. But the era of the bully is ending. It's changing. A lot of people are mad about it. You can tell when you talk to someone how their face changes when they realize their targets start to talk back now. That they have their own shit to say. They can't handle that. People can't handle when targets fight back. So I invite you to open your mouth and let your anger flow. Okay, there is no political correctness. They don't want that. So don't be PC. You see someone who's dumb, do like me. Say, you are incredibly stupid. I went to the bathroom earlier, and what I left had more insight into the world than anything you've ever thought in your life. If someone makes a racist joke, tell them you don't understand it, and say, can we go to HR so you can explain it further? And finally, for all the people who say, especially men, who say, I don't really like fat women, tell them, I've seen your mom, and someone likes your fat mom. So maybe you should humble yourself. Maybe you should humble yourself like your dad did. But it's very important. Talk back. Talk back. People don't get to degrade you anymore because they don't want PC. Tell them what you think about them for a change. They can't handle it. That's my story.